A Republican Senate candidate named Sam Clovis from Iowa did an interview with the Daily Herald, and he thinks he knows why Obama hasn't been impeached yet. Because he's black. I'm not kidding, he actually believes that. He said, quote, "I would say there are people in the House of Representatives right now that would very much like to take the opportunity to start the process of impeachment, and I think the reason that they're not is because they're concerned about the media." Could you imagine let's stop for a second and just imagine if that's true. Like, you see in a room, you have, like, all the big-time Senate Republicans and House Republicans. You have John Boehner and Mitch McConnell and Eric Cantor and Paul Ryan standing around, and they're like, all right, should we try to do impeachment? Well, we could, but on the other hand, President Obama is black. Like, that's obviously not how it went down. Let me ask you a question. If that was a reason to go softer on President Obama, then why didn't they consider that any of the 50 times they tried to repeal Obamacare? Or how about the fact that they broke the filibuster record? Literally, there's not another Congress in the history of the U.S., that filibustered more than this one. So yeah, they're totally going light on Obama because he's black, except all the times that they don't go light on him and they go the hardest ever. So according to the paper, Clovis did not list causes for impeachment, so he didn't say, well, look, here are the reasons why you should impeach. But instead, he mused that the media would be harsher on a party impeaching a black president. Quote, "Now we have a situation where race is thrown into the cards as well. Whether we like it or not, race is an issue. It's not that what he has done would not rise to the level where it might be impeachable." All right, tough guy. And that's the thing. If you actually were to ask him, all right, cool. So anyway, putting that aside, let's pretend he's white for a second. What would you impeach him for? Crickets. And actually, all the things that he actually is impeachable because any president is impeachable. But the problem is all the things that you actually could impeach Obama for are things that the Republicans love. So, for example, the illegal drone war that we're doing in Afghanistan and Pakistan and Yemen and Somalia, where we're killing, hundreds, if not thousands, of civilians. That's illegal. First of all, that's unconstitutional. But second of all, that's wildly illegal under international law, the Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg Tribunal. And Article 1, Section 8 says that Congress needs to declare war. And they didn't declare war on Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia. There's a clear violation of the Constitution, but they're like, no, it's cool. Let them slide on that one, because when we get in power, we want to be able to do those things also. And then the NSA, are you kidding me? The establishment Republicans love the NSA spying. It's the clearest violation of the Fourth Amendment ever. This is probably something you could do impeachment over. But they're like, no, we actually like that. We want to do that when we get in power, so we're going to let him be unconstitutional in that respect. Everything they think they can impeach him for are things that are not unconstitutional, like Obamacare, for example. Giving people health care. Like, oh, how terrible is that? Yeah, what a horrendous situation that we should impeach for. But these guys, the guy is so silly. And you know what this shows me? It shows me something that we already knew about a lot of people from red states, a lot of these far-right Republicans, is that not only do they think that, hey, man, racism is over, blacks get over it, but they also think, no, we are discriminated against now. It's white people who are discriminated against. If you're a black person, you can get away with more than a white person can get away with. This is how they actually think. How many fucking studies have we covered on the show that talk about the exact opposite being true? So, for example, there was a massive study that said black people and white people use drugs at the same rate. They self-report using at the same rate. But black people get arrested 4 times more often. Or how about the fact that when it comes to the death penalty, if you have a black person that commits a crime and a white person that commits the same crime, the black person is much more likely to get the death penalty. And these go, you go down the list. There was the study with the resumes, for example, how if you have a traditionally sounding black name on a resume, and you have the same work experience as a white name, the black name never gets picked. The white name always gets picked. Same thing with online sales. If you have an African-American name or the study they did had a black hand holding an iPod versus a white hand holding an iPod, all the other information the same. The white hand got all the hits. The black hand got none. And then there was that recent viral YouTube video of a white kid trying to break into a car. People just walked by, minded their business. A fucking cop drove by, saw this kid trying to break into the car, and ignored it. When a black guy did it, the cops were on the scene in like a few minutes. Had the cuffs on him and everything. So, of course, man, anybody who has their head screwed on tightly understands that there's still different types of racism in the U.S. There's subconscious racism, there's overt racism, there's systemic racism. I mean, we're not saying that it's as bad as it was in 1954, but it certainly still exists, and to deny it or act like white people are discriminated against now? Are you fucking kidding me? Never once in my life, as a white guy, have I sat down and thought, wow, I'm really not sure if I'll get this job. Maybe the color of my skin is going to hold me back.